excited. She wanted to do this, and she came to us. So they were a big part of it, but they needed us to kind of, because we are in the community per se, but they were still active and still very active. And like I said, now she's in Philly and she's has a position to assist with it, to maybe on that aspect.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna play a little video, and so the videos are essentially the same thing as the packets, except in video form, and they speak a lot to the role of the community, not just the family, because that's the sort of story that we want to tell, and so we train hubs on how to make the videos. So if like Top, for example, did it, we train them on how to do it. These days, if you ask a group who's made a video, like a bunch of hands will raise. It's not like before, it was a pretty exclusive, like it costs a lot and that kind of thing. These days you could do stuff on your phone, on your tablet, that kind of thing, free editing software. So we train organizations on how to do it. Like we have like a boot camp, or we'll do a day long. And we train public defenders' offices. So like we just did a 2-day training for Chicago's public defender's office last week. So this is Zahim. So this is in Philadelphia. His mom came to the meeting and was represented by the public defender's office. As you know, Philadelphia is kind of like Houston at this inflection point of potential change, that kind of thing, because of Krasner. And while I love everything I'm seeing, in the media, there are still young people being prosecuted for things that they probably should not have been prosecuted. Zahim was an example of that. Just as a way background, so he was accused of firing a pellet gun at another juvenile. He's I think 12 at this time, and was taken, detained, facing charges. DA was not dropping the charges. It turned out that it wasn't a pellet gun. It was a toy plastic, less than $3 thing you buy at the liquor store that was like in between the Barbie dolls and the Butterfingers. Like it wasn't a weapon. And turned out the alleged victim was a child of a police officer, and the police officer called their friends. They didn't call 911. So there was a lot of issues that were boiling. The public defender couldn't get the juvenile DA's office to withdraw the plea, and we ended up making this video to tell the larger community story. I can't remember if this is the full video, but it's a 7-minute version, so there may be pieces we took out. Audio, I forgot about that. Is there, I can try to.
Oh, just put your marker.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's good. That's right. Oh, shit. Don't look. Okay.
I play running back, linebacker, and a few bit of safety a little bit. I like to play running back because it's the height.
What are your hopes?
I'm trying to make it all the way. Make it to the NFL. I play for South Philly Hurricanes. We play in NESAC League, and we got about 15, 12 games this season. We 13U team.
Do you think you're a contender to win the championship?
We small, but I think we got a chance. My name is Zahim Michael Walton-Salgardine. I go to Vera University Charter School. 13 years old.
My name is Zakia Salahuddin. My son is Zaim Salahuddin. Well, football is his niche. So he got signed up for the Dragons in Southwest Philly. And when he got signed up for the Dragons, he said, "Mom, it's about time you brought me out here." And I said, "I wasn't holding you back, you 5. Like, this is when you can start." So from that day on, he played. He's my only son. He has 2 sisters, one in front, one in the back. He's the middle child, but he also the only boy, period. The only grandson, the only brother. He's the only boy. Me and my children, we are a collective That's how I raised them. That's what we are. We are collective. We stand up for each other. We show up for each other. We are each other's lifeline. And that's what I raised them to be. And that's who we are. From the coaches to the teachers, everybody has eyes on him. Everybody sees the greatness in him. Even if he don't see it himself, everybody sees it. And everybody treats him like he's their kid.
My name is Rashawn Gooden, but Zaim usually does attend all activities that we do have, whether it's sports or mentorship. His mom definitely makes sure that she try to keep him out of the trouble, keep him out the way.
Well, when the incident happened, the cops pulled me over. I guess I was a little scared.
What was it like when you felt handcuffs on?
It was just a little too tight. And I don't know how to say it, but it was like I was being isolated.
So 4 o'clock in the morning is when I got the phone call. And that's when they told me they were shipping my son to the youth study center. So I get up there. When I get there, and I see my son. He cold, he freezing, he ain't ate, he ain't got no eat, because he been locked up since 8 o'clock at night at this point, and now we're just in contact.
I mean, just sitting in the cell alone, it's like, man, I didn't want her to see me like that.
And they tell me that they're keeping him. So I said, okay, you're keeping them. But I'm like, well, where did you get it from? Because now I need to go back to figure out where it came from, what's going on. And he said, I got it from the store. I said, you got it from the store? Because I'm thinking it's an air-propelled gun. What store is selling this? What store? He says, 28th Street. So I'm like, the corner store? He said, yeah. I said, this is a toy? He said, yeah. I got in the store and I saw toys. And it's a rack of toys all hung above the potato chips and the snacks where kids go. So you see doll babies, slingshots, bow and arrows, nunchucks, and you see toy guns. You see toys. I found out that the guns cost $3.50. I was really mad that the police decided that was warrant or arrest. That was my first reaction. My first reaction was like, okay, these is toys, literally toys. Y'all really locked my son up for this. I can't get him out until Monday morning. So he'll be there from Friday night to Monday morning when we can get in front of a judge to get him out.
Yeah, the first time I saw my mom was the hearing. I just seen the disappointment in her face.
His arrest was literally one of the biggest fears I had ever. I am the daughter of a lifer. I have a big fear of my son going to jail. And I work very hard to make sure he don't go to jail. Very hard. Like, I spend more money on Zayn than I do my daughters to make sure that programs are available to him and things are in place where as though he don't get really caught up. So his arrest bothered me. So I had to get my head together. Because my son was sitting in a youth study center where my goal is to get him through this. Zayn is, once he was arrested, he kind of felt like that was what was going to happen to him. I'm going to be arrested. I'll get locked up. He felt like his high school chances was done. Because with a record, for him, for football, that's what he wanted to do. He was playing football in high school. Starting, not starting, he's going to be on somebody's football team come next year in the start of 9th grade. But for him, he felt like it was done.
Because the way the lawyer and I was talking about it, it's like it's going to stay on my record. So I was just thinking there's no point to keep going if it's going to be on my record and it's going to affect from me playing.
It tends to kill your spirit, and it killed his spirit. I watched it kill it. The damage he received is his pride, I think. I think it damaged his pride, his thoughts. It damaged who he believed he was. Well, my hope is that we get into Newman High School for football. That's my hope. Come next school year, yes. So hopefully we'll be there. And if we there, then Zaim will be moving forward with his life, with his tone, and we back on track. I just want to be back on track. I want this case to be over.
I want to be in college. I want to go to Penn State. Yeah, I want to play. I want to try for running back.
Yeah, he want to be a running back. I think he better on defense, but that's our argument. He wants to be a running back. Well, you always want the touchdowns, don't you? But defense win games. Yeah, he'll be there one day, though. We'll see.
Yeah. So that was yeah. So that was Zaheem. So the public defender used it with the juvenile DA's office as part of something larger too, because it also showed that the community was. It also showed that the community was really invested in Zaheem and his future in this case. So they ended up dropping the case, and no charges left with Zaheem. And his mom is actually a regular participant now, Participatory Defense, as a co-facilitator and helping other families, and has actually gone on to become. That's the thing about this too, is like there's all this like organic leadership that is there that hasn't been realized, and all these folks end up stepping up and becoming incredible powerhouses in their respective communities. I think we're about wrapping up, but just to say, Adrian mentioned this earlier, is that it wasn't just the individual cases, but the cases lead to larger campaigns that the community can engage in, kind of like what we were talking about with Top yesterday. So there's some examples like challenging this in Philadelphia, the hubs work with the public defender's office to stop, actually statewide Pennsylvania, to stop the use of risk assessments in sentencing. And we ended the direct filing of young people into the adult system in California. That's Vero, whose son was charged and was direct filed as an adult. She didn't want that to happen in any other family, and so she became a central kind of moral voice in our community. That's actually her attorney, Sajid, and they would, that's Vero again. So they would travel together all the time and kind of advocate for young people. And so these campaign things are possible because the community knows that that's their know-how, right? That's the science they know, is how to flex political muscle and power. And so knowing how to apply it in things that you all see every day is significant. Like yesterday I told a story about something that didn't appear as a specific campaign. Like we've done some of those that got headlines. There's others that didn't. Like we didn't have public defenders at misdemeanor out of custody arraignment court. And we just thought that was the way it worked until we visited with Jeff Adachi of the San Francisco Public Defender's Office, who was like, no, we fight at arraignment. So we went and talked to our public defender, like, hey, how come we don't do that? And she's like, I've been trying every year. I asked the budget, I asked the board of soups every year. They say no, because it's probably an expected request. But we, as the kind of electorate, I guess it's called, have political power. So we met with our board of supervisors and said, this is a priority to the community, and we need you to staff misdemeanor out of custody arraignment court, or at least allow the public defenders to do it, because it's about us. It's not about the public defenders. And we were able to turn that around in a year, and now we have representation in the courthouse. So those are things that we never would have seen. Like if our public defender put a flyer up that said, rally on Saturday morning to staff out of custody arraignment court with public defenders. Like, no one's coming to that rally. But if you have community leaders that are advocating for civil rights, say this is about mass incarceration, this is about the anchoring of our community with records that they shouldn't have, then we could get some political wind. So we're this thing is happening now in something north of 25 cities. So like, this is actually where Zakiya met Zaheem's mom. This is in Philadelphia. This is in Nashville. We do these kind of webinars, and we actually brought everyone out to California to do a social bio boot camp. And what's amazing to me is, like, if you go to Philly or you go to Nashville or San Jose or Pottstown, if a family goes in, that their experience is going to be the same, like, regardless of the city. And so that's the fidelity of the approach is what we're kind of focusing on. We have a national network now of, this is an old slide, but yeah, more than 20 cities. Our actual count, we world premiered the video yesterday of our time saved numbers. We count it every year, so our current number is 6,100 something. And this is a website where you'll see who the other hubs are. And our hope is that this could happen in Houston, and with TOP or other community agencies that are interested. We'll see. I think we're going to do a follow-up conversation with them. We'd love it if it was like a kind of conversation with all of us, because I think that's where this thing really moves. We've kind of used that's all the slides I have, but if there are any other questions that folks have as we're kind of winding down, and then Alex has our information too, and I'm sure we'll probably have some follow-up discussions. Is there any other questions or thoughts as we kind of, yeah, we're at 12:02.
Just one question. You talked about at the meeting, y'all talked about confidentiality
Yeah.
and all that. Has that ever become a problem? Like, if someone's out saying trying to